Hey, peace family, what's going on? It's Tanisio Natanai Sanima representing Nature's Candy Farms, checking in with you today because I wanted to make a video about testing your soil. And this is a subject that for many people is very important because they always want to ensure that they have the right mixture and density of nutrients in their soil. And I want to say that I'm from the school that as long as you take care of the soil, even without doing a test, you'll probably find that the test is just going to reveal to you that you've been doing good work. I'm cut from that cloth of my elder Rashid Nouri, who used to always say the words compost, compost, compost. And when working on his farm, that being the one and only Truly Living Well, you know, many of us would talk to him about wanting to get the soil tested, and he would just be shaking his head like, why do y'all need to do that? And so eventually, he allowed some of us to go get the soil tested. And then when we brought it back and we saw the results were off the chart, he would just ask us one simple question. He'd be like, now, imagine that the results of that test were that the soil was weak. What would you do? And they're like, we'd add compost. And what you saw me just do, that's what he would do. So with that being said, I think you all get the point, but I do want you all to learn about this skill because it's something that you can definitely do yourself. Of course, you can always take soil samples and send them to Cooperative Extension, but you can also do it yourself. So we're going to be using the one and only rapid test by Luster Leaf, and you all will get a chance to see how this particular system works in just a second here. So stay tuned. All right, y'all. So the first step is we need to be able to gather the soil sample that we're going to use. And I'm actually going to pull soil from some of these beds that you see. I have these container beds. I haven't planted in them yet. However, I would like to see what the actual, nutrient content is of these beds, just so that it gives me a good idea of what I should expect from them this first growing season. I'll be amending these beds as time goes on, but again, this just kind of gives me a baseline so that I can understand what I'm working with. And so I'm going to take just this trusty little Pyrex container here and put a soil sample in it, as you can see. And so now that I got my soil, let's move on to the next step. All right, so next up, we want to actually have a container that we're going to use to create our solution that we'll use in our soil test. And so what we're going to do is add 1 part of soil. In this case, I have half a cup with 5 parts of water. And so in this case, I have 2.5 cups of water. Preferably, you want to use either a distilled water or a spring water for this. But you're going to just basically pour both of those items into the container. And once everything is in the container, then you're going to actually close the lid or seal it up with whichever method you choose. And then you want to really shake it nice and vigorously because you're ultimately wanting the soil to mix in with the water, and then you're going to let it settle. And that creates the solution. So I'm going to let this actually settle, and then we'll come back and we'll conclude with the rest of the test. All right, greetings family. So it has been a couple of hours and I let the soil and the water separate so that I have a solution. And I've actually gone ahead and done the test because there's actually a span of time in which you have to wait, not only for the water to settle, but then you have to put the actual solution into the test containers. Then you have to actually pour the solution activator, if you will, I don't know what you want to call it, into the actual water, and then you actually look at the colors. So just as an example, this is the phosphorus test. And as you can see, there's actually a scale that goes from basically completely depleted soil all the way up to very suffice or even a surplus. And so as you can see here, based upon the color range, I've actually got a decent amount of phosphorus in this particular soil. However, when I take a look at my nitrogen, for example, we can see that I've definitely got to do some work to get some nitrogen in that soil. And then also my potassium is definitely on the lower side as well too. And so all of that being said, like I said, you literally would just add the water to these containers using this little droplet. They each come with these capsules, and you pour the capsule actually into the area that's called test. And then you use this side as the reference point. And once you look at the colors, it'll actually tell you what you need to actually add to your soil. So that's a way to just have a do-it-yourself soil test at home. If you want to learn more information about that, then feel free to hit me up at naturescandyfarms@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. But until then, let's grow together. Peace. Nature's Candy Farms.